In this video we will discuss about some important terms used in inflation chapter. Now let's start with inflationary gap and deflationary gap in this video. 1. Inflationary gap. An inflationary gap occurs when aggregate demand, AD, in an economy, is greater than aggregate supply, AS, at the full employment level, also called potential level, of output as shown in above figure 1. In other words, we say that actual gross domestic product, GDP, is higher than potential GDP, full employment output. What are the main reasons which causes inflationary gap? Causes: aggregate demand, AD, greater than aggregate supply, AS, at full employment, that is more money in an economy, leads to higher demand for goods and services that exceed supply at full employment. In other words, we can also say that a reduction in the economy's ability to produce goods and services, that can cause a gap as demand remains same. Now let's see what are the consequences of inflationary gap. Consequences. Inflation. Price levels rise as firms compete for limited resources, driving up costs and prices. This is known as demand pull inflation. B. Economic overheating. The economy is producing beyond its sustainable capacity, leading to unsustainable growth and inflationary pressure. Solutions. 1. Fiscal policy, by government. The government can decrease aggregate demand by implementing contractionary policies which are as increase taxes. This takes money out of the hands of consumers, reducing spending. B. Reducing government spending. Less government expenditure directly lowers aggregate demand. 2. Monetary policy, by central bank. The central bank cools down the economy by reducing the money supply and credit. Increase repo rate. Higher interest rates make borrowing more expensive, leading to less consumption and investment. B. Increase legal reserve ratio. By increasing reserve requirements for banks, such as the statutory liquidity ratio, the central bank reduces the amount of money banks can lend, decreasing credit and aggregate demand. 2. Deflationary gap. A deflationary gap occurs when aggregate demand, AD, is less than aggregate supply, AS, at the full employment level of output as shown in above figure 2. In simple words, we can say, total demand is too weak to buy all that the economy can produce at full capacity. What are the main characteristics, or how can one identify that deflationary gap occurs in an economy? Key characteristics. Deficient demand. Aggregate demand falls short of what's needed for full employment. B. Underutilized resources. The economy has idle labor and capital. C. Downward pressure. Leads to falling prices, deflation, and wages. D. Negative output gap. The difference between potential and actual output. What are the main reasons which causes deflationary gap? Causes. Decreased consumer spending, pessimism about jobs, income. B. Reduced investment by businesses. Now let's see what are the consequences of deflationary gap. Consequences. Inflation. Price levels rise as firms compete for limited resources, driving up costs and prices. This is known as demand pull inflation. B. Economic overheating. The economy is producing beyond its sustainable capacity, leading to unsustainable growth and inflationary pressure. Solutions. Fiscal policy, by government. Governments can increase spending or cut taxes to directly boost aggregate demand. B. Monetary policy, by central bank. Central banks can lower interest rates, e.g., reducing discount rates, or buy government securities, open market operations, to increase money supply and encourage borrowing, spending. Thank you for watching this video. In next video we will discuss some important terms used in inflation chapter part 2.